Boy, it was good to talk to you on the phone. That was a long talk we had on the phone the other day. I really enjoyed it very much, and I'm thinking that your concerns, which are heartfelt, are probably felt by a lot of people. So we want to talk about that. And welcome, Jacob. It's so good to see you again, you know. And in the audience, welcome very much to the program. We have Jabod Sabat. He's an intellectual and a person of very deep concern about the state of the world, both politically and existentially, and it's very heartfelt on his part. And I just was chatting with him here now that I think he's representative of a very deep concern felt by a great number of people across the earth, outside of only himself. And we're going to be talking about that and other matters, and we have him booked, or the graphic, as a lover of truth, which is his, he wanted that label, so that's a sort of generic thing we're going to be talking about. But, welcome really very, very much to the program, Jacob. Welcome. I'm glad we could get together. Enjoyed that telephone conversation. We had a long one, but I wonder, we'll wade into that, about the human condition, fascism, or signs of that seem to be characteristic of, in the minds of many people, the dangers of that. But share, if you would, a little bit your own background, born and raised, a little of that, and then we'll get into a discussion of the contemporary human condition, which can in many cases be seen in very negative terms, in terms of that, and so forth. But share your own background, please.
I grew up in Washington Heights, right here in Manhattan, northern Manhattan. I was valedictorian of my high school.
Good.
I graduated in the upper 5% of my engineering class in college.
Where did you go?
Stony Brook.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I then worked as an engineer for about a year and went back to school to do my pre-med, to enter medical school.
Yeah.
Was accepted to medical school, but at the same time, I applied to seminary. So I decided to postpone medical school, and I went into seminary.
That's interesting, yeah.
And so I studied early New Testament origins, relationship with Judaism, first century history, which then took me into a deeper understanding of all the religions.
Okay, that's if you were fixing to go into, I got a lot of friends who went through the medical tract, and that's a pretty rigorous course of action. You don't have a heck of a lot of time to be interested in anything else. I think, what's the worst year? The first year at med school, the worst year in the law school is the second year, I think, or it may be the other way around.
The first 2 years are very intense because it's basically you're absorbing knowledge. The next 2 years
You're talking med now.
Yes, in medical school. The next 2 years are spent in the hospital. Then there's internship, which I think they now took out. There used to be a hazing period where after graduating medical school, you had a year of internship.
Then you have
but
a
now
residency
you just go into
after that.
Then there's residency. I think they cut the internship out, now it's just residency.
But it's a very focusing time. You don't have a heck of a lot of time for anything else other than...
It's grueling.
It's grueling.
It's grueling.
With the word, intellectually
but
and
I was
physically.
Used to it because all my life I came from a very strong academic background.
Okay,
so I was used to studying. I could study 8 hours straight. No big deal.
Okay, let's mention that for a minute, because the familial background is probably more important than the sociological one in terms of an individual's intellectual development. And talk a little bit about your familial study. You said a strong intellectual setting that you were born into. I understand.
My parents were Jewish, but not religious.
Okay.
I would put them in the classification of humanists.
Okay.
They respected all the good in all religions. And they gave me the freedom to explore anything I wanted, as long as I didn't get hurt by it.
I see. Okay, they were academics, or what? Or
my father was in business.
Okay.
Export import. And he later became a painter. And my mother was a singer-songwriter.
And the house was filled with intellectually oriented people in discussion, and siblings, and around the dinner table you were talking about something other than materialistic, who's got the best washing machine or something. You understand? They were talking intellectual matters and social
around
concerns.
the dinner table. My father was more politically oriented, not my mother so much. My mother was more
cultural,
spiritually, like helping people, helping people in the community.
And your father?
My father was more of the mind, and in terms of ideas, ideology.
And political in the sense of being progressive in his politics, or
well,
no?
he professed to be a communist.
Okay, that was thought progressive in those days.
But in a very idealistic way.
Okay.
I mean, if he would have seen what happened to the Soviet Union, I think he would have been very...
A lot of people tried to hold on to that for a long time in the view of bringing Hegel or bringing the dialectic and Marx and so forth into reality in the world.
He saw it in its ideal form.
Yeah.
And which, by the way,
yeah,
if you study the New Testament, the early church was communistic, where they share. It's written in the New Testament that all the disciples pooled their money, and the needs of the community were pooled out of that common pool.
That's interesting.
Which is a communistic kind of concept.
And he did
as opposed to private property.
Right.
Meaning there was no private property. So.
And he did throw the money changers out of the temple.
Yeah, but that was a different kind of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, it was because those two didn't really kind of go together.
I wonder if that goes around the importing of the idea of interest or to usury, even, because it's still an issue that's evolved in the world today. But anyway,
yeah, that's outlawed, by the way. But yet people get around it.
They've gotten around it.
They got around it, like so many things.
Yes, that's
like
right.
so many things.
Yeah.
So, but what I want to discuss with you is I want to create the laboratory in this studio right now between you and me.
Okay.
Because I want to do an experiment with you.
Okay.
Meaning, if I want to, well, first I want to say a few preliminary things before we do this.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say that there's good news. The good news is everyone is already there, and we're all one. The problem is inherently,
okay.
it is there. There's nothing to do. We are one. There are no divisions. The difficulty is we've been raised to believe that there are divisions, that we are separate, that we are divided. We have thought, and I have determined what has done this.
And when you say we, do you mean the whole Megillah, that is the whole ecology?
The human race.
The whole or the human race? Or do you mean the whole...
animals? No, the animals and nature are in perfect order.
They're in perfect order.
The cosmos
is in perfect order.
Perfect order.
Okay, that's
the human being has gone astray.
Okay, only the human being.
Only, as far as we know, on this planet. There might be aliens on other planets, but on this planet, the human being has evolved, has gone out of, has been put out of harmony with the cosmos.
Why?
I have found out that it was through. Now, we have to be very careful here so there's no misunderstanding.
Okay.
Thought, not all thought, but thought as in creating an image of oneself.
Self-reflective consciousness.
Thought made an image of the self, the I. That is the root cause of this illusion of division, of separation. The you and the not you, the me and the not me.
Okay. And I think it's probably unique to the human consciousness. We were expelled from nature. When we were in Eden, we were ecologically in touch with the environment, much like the creatures are. And I don't think a crocodile has a sense of self-reflective consciousness. The story is that we ate of the fruit of knowledge, and we were then expelled from grace or being in touch with the environment. More or less, you're saying there's something negative, in a certain sense, about humanity and their
I don't say negative.
Role. Oh no, not regular. Out of touch. What is the term you
use?
In
the course of this, in the course of this experiment, this is the laboratory. Meaning, this is the world. Right now, you and I are the world.
Well, okay.
And what I'm saying is, we are one.
Okay.
There's no division, but here's the thing. Do you feel that? Do you see that? No, you don't feel that.
No.
So this is the difficulty. So what we're going to try to do here in this studio is see if that division, that sense of separation, can disappear completely. Now, if it can take place between you and I, then it can take place anywhere, all over the world.
Well, that's an
so without going into all the world right now, we reduce the world to this room. between you and me, which is relationship.
And the cameras. They're just the two of us.
Just you and me.
Okay, okay. The
Those
cameras
that are looking at us.
Yeah, all right.
And so we say, you say, that there's this sense of division that you feel, right?
Yeah.
I say we're one, but yet you don't treat me like your daughter, your son, your wife, right? You don't have that same sense of closeness and affection and care that you would for them. Or do you?
Well, I don't know. There are probably degrees of...
There's degrees, but it's not the same.
And particularly against the newfound stranger or something, yeah.
Right,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now what I'm asking is it possible for the way that you feel with your deepest, closest friend and lover to feel that way with me right now by the time this show is over? I'm saying it is possible,
I would say,
and we're going to experiment now.
Okay, good. That's good. I would say it's not possible. But okay, so that's a perfect
but don't
thing.
say it's possible
it's probably,
or it's not.
It's not probable.
No, we say, I don't know. We
right,
begin
I'm
there.
all with that, yeah.
We begin, I don't know. I say it is because I know it, I've done it. You don't, so you say, I don't know. If it's let's see. Be open.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, good. Okay.
For the purpose of the experiment, we must be open. Otherwise, how can we find out?
Right. Okay. Okay, fair enough.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, we have determined that there's a sense of division between you and me. I want to explore that division.
Okay.
Can we?
Sure, why not?
Okay. What is that? What is the nature and structure of that division? What would you say it is? Look at it now. Don't tell me your theories. Look now between us. Cut out everything else for the moment, and just between us, what do you feel? What are you observing now that creates that sense of separation? What would you say?
I think you're in better physical shape than I am. You're a more well put together physical self than that. So there are differences between you and me, and I know I have a wide experience that I draw upon. And
but we're not talking about the differences, meaning hair color, skin color. These are very superficial.
Okay.
Meaning the sense of separation, the sense of distance. You know how you feel closer to certain people?
Yeah.
You don't feel so close to other people. That sense of psychological separation, which exists here, meaning I'm not your lover. You don't treat me the same as you would your grandchildren, your best friend. You see what I'm saying? Your most intimate lover. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I do in a sense, but I don't quite understand what you're getting at. But yes, I'm trying to go along with you.
We're exploring. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, I make distinctions between people. Yeah.
But and you treat them differently.
And also the creatures. I treat a
You
cat
don't have
differently.
that same sense of closeness.
Well,
do you?
I don't know quite what you're getting at.
Okay,
I like
think
Martin
of somebody
Buber
right
a lot,
now.
and the idea of I and thou, and that can be extended out and all that, but it's intellectualizing. I can't get out of intellectualizing.
No, you're meaning you feel it in your heart.
No, I don't want to feel,
heart.
I want to understand what you're saying.
There's an understanding which comes from the intellect, but then there's also an understanding which comes from the heart.
Most of what, the heart, to me, if I may.
The total being.
No, the total being is not the heart. The heart is a muscle
total
that
being,
pumps.
that's what I mean.
The heart is a muscle that pumps blood. Everything going on is in your brain.
I'm sorry, I meant the total being.
Well, you see, you want me to stop thinking? I can't do that.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
By the way, let's make it clear now. It's very important that since you brought this up, let's make it very clear. Thinking is necessary. I wouldn't be able to speak to you now.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to run these cameras without thought. Let's be very clear, because we're going to be exploring certain things, and we may find out that thought is doing something that is creating problems, and then we may then think that thought is the bad guy. It's not. Let's be very clear. Thought in the sense of image making of self, the sense of self. I know, I am this. I am a Christian, I am Russian, I am German, I am Canadian. That sense. I have experiences. I have many things that have happened to me. Those memories then get carried over. And it's that memory now, is it not, that's listening to me now. And in acting as an interpreter according to its own limitation, because memory is always limited. Well, knowledge is always limited. No matter how much you add, right? No matter how much you accumulate, it's always limited. Meaning, let's ask this question. Who are you now?
My name is Harold Channer. I was born in
your name? Your name? the way your image of yourself, your experiences, your career, your reputation, all the things you've gone through, your hopes, your dreams, your fears, all of that is Harold.
Yeah.
Right? Which is what?
I don't...
Which is memory.
Oh, I guess so.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's memory now that's saying, I guess so, I agree, I don't agree.
Yeah.
It's memory. Harold is a bundle of memory.
It's a bundle of memory and consciousness.
Which is limited.
Trying to understand what you're getting at.
Memory is trying to understand.
Right.
But it's limited understanding.
And I don't want anything to do with anything that I cannot understand.
Right.
You sound like Billy Graham to me, or to an evangelist who wants you to have some sort of a suspension of judgment or thought.
We're exploring.
For some
let's
reason
be clear.
that I
let's
don't understand.
Review.
Like we're going to get on the road to Jerusalem and have an epiphany or born again Christian.
No, wait. No, we don't know anything. That's the way
it sounds to me.
No, we don't know anything. Start there, right?
No, I don't. Well,
we have. Let's review. What have we determined so far? There's space between us.
Yeah.
Not just the physical space, but the psychological space of, well, I really don't know you that well.
Right.
I don't know if I really like you. I have an impression of you. I made an image of you.
Yeah.
And that image doesn't, so conform to what I like in a person, whatever, and therefore a sense of separation.
Well, I don't usually have a sense of not liking because I tend to I'm a Will Rogers type. I tend to like people and look for the empathy with other people.
Right, but
as it happens. Some people do, some people don't.
But so are you saying then, Harold, that when you look at me, you see your wife, you see your grandchild, you see your child, you see your mother, you see your brother, you see your sister? Is that what you're saying?
No, I see Jabod Sabat.
You see Jacob, but the quality of feeling.
I don't know what you're talking about, and I have a hard time dealing with something that I can't understand.
Your wife or your brother or sister or mother or your dear friend, your lover, walks through this door right now. There's a certain reaction. Yeah. Oh, hello, how are you? Whatever. Or you may not like them or whatever it is.
Or somebody
But you treat them that way, and then you treat me a different way, right? You may know less about me or whatever.
Yeah.
You see? This sort of sense.
Yeah.
Therefore,
we make distinctions. Yeah.
Distinctions based on our conditioning, which is memory.
And our genetic makeup, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So are we then in agreement, can we then say at this point that there is space, a sense of space?
Well,
there may not be a space, but there's a sense of it.
There is. There's a distance, and I really like the thing that Buber came up with, the idea of an I and thou. You can have an I and it. You would tend to objectivize people more than you ought. You ought to have more of an I-thou relationship. I can understand that intellectually, and if I can understand something intellectually, I'm comfortable with it. If I'm asked to not understand or to make a leap of faith, I don't think I'll ever get to that.
No, we're seeking.
If that's what you're asking.
No, we're seeking.
Or if that's what you're wanting. What's this
Harold,
about?
we're seeking understanding.
Well,
clarity.
Yeah, clarity of thought.
Clarity, absolutely.
Of intellect.
Yes.
Okay, fine. I'm all for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we in agreement? Do you observe now? Do you see? Do you see that there's space between us?
Of course.
Okay. Not just the physical space, but the psychological.
Of course.
Okay. What is the nature of that space? I say it's memory, which is your past, your conditioning. That the very sense of space that you're feeling is actually the I, the me, which is the bundle of memory, which is the past, which is what you think you know, which has made a record, an imprint on your brain.
Well, I would have to think about it a little bit. I don't know.
Let's go into
there's
it. Think
a certain amount of oxygen and hydrogen and thing between us. There's a lot of different
differences. That's the physical.
Well,
I'm talking the psychological space.
Well, then what gives somebody a sense of their own identity? Or as an individual? Is what you're asking. I'm trying to get at what you're getting at.
The identity, your identity, right, is all the things you've accumulated.
Yeah,
your car, your house, your children, right?
No, and your thoughts.
Which is memory.
And your thoughts.
Which is memory.
And your patterns.
You're a bundle of memory. Can we agree to that?
Well, I'm not sure I want to because I'm not sure what you're getting at.
We're going to get there.
It sounds to me limiting.
Go slowly. Let's go slow.
It's limiting. You're wanting to
memory
limit
is limited.
It to something. Yeah, that's part of it. But we're also part
of
a larger
Well,
there is a larger context in which everything takes place, and every individual. There's a larger context. I like the idea of Gaia, that the Earth might be able to be seen as an organism. and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of other things. There's a larger context. You can't separate it out.
Unfortunately, the time is limited,
well,
right? So I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for the audience.
Why don't you just cut to the chase, and what are you getting at?
Okay. I'm saying there's space between us, psychological space between you and me in this room.
Yeah, but that seems self-evident to me.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. A sense of division.
Right.
I'm saying there is no division.
I think you're wrong.
That wait, go slow, go slow. You're saying I think that's wrong. Of course you do. That's why you have that sense of division. You have otherwise, if you knew the truth, you would be acting differently.
You're the lover.
You're be treating me like your lover.
You're gonna. Well, okay.
Like your best friend, like. With the love and affection and the care and the kindness that you show to someone that you dearly love, right? You'd be treating me that way.
You're making
obviously you're not.
What is it you're getting at?
Okay.
I don't understand what you're getting at.
We're going to get there, but we have to go slowly because we'll lose people, right? I want people to see this
carefully. We may already have done it. You've lost me almost because I don't know what you're getting at. And it sounds to me like a con man from a spiritual thing wanting me to go and find Jesus or something. And that really off-puts me.
No, it's not
immediately because I'm a critical thinker.
Not here.
I do not want to give up critical thinking and give myself over to some
we're not giving up anything.
Something. Okay.
Can we agree to that?
No, I wish you would get to the point.
Okay, I'm saying that we're one.
Well, okay, you're saying that.
But we're not acting that way. The action, the actual behavior.
What are we? Let me ask you. You keep throwing questions.
One.
What does that mean? What does that mean, we are one?
Meaning
we are one with the people in the control room
and
the people on 5th, 95th?
No, don't bring them in right now.
No, why not?
For the moment.
Why not?
For the moment.
Why not? Why limit it to two? Because that leaves them out. You're leaving something out.
I'm not leaving anything out.
Well, okay, I don't want to just sit here and have you bombard me with thoughts.
You and I, right, are human beings.
That's right.
The others are human beings, too.
That's right.
Meaning, let us, for the moment, for this time period, focus on us, because if we can find out the root cause of that sense of separation between you and me, Harold, that means it can be applied across the world.
I don't even want to consider it unless you tell me the context in which you're talking. Tell me what you're talking about. I don't want to be just going down some yellow brick road with somebody who's got an idea about Jesus or something. Or
why don't you ask me a question?
Okay, then I would say, what about the whole of the human society? What about the whole of human knowledge? What about Big Bang? What about the origin of life on this planet? What about the idea of the fact we have weapons of systems that can destroy the whole species? Where does mankind fit in? What is mankind's role? What is the individual within mankind's role?
Right.
What is mankind's role in terms of the larger ecological order? How does the political system, why do we not have a system where there can be a greater release of human energy?
Right?
Okay, now, so I don't care about all this stuff you're talking about particularly, so it's boring.
Okay, wait, hold on. You mentioned all these things.
Yeah, it's all
and the list is great, right? Now, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love all those things.
Okay.
But wait, would you not agree with me that in order to pursue all these things, science, technology, the pursuit of truth,
well,
then it must come from a human being who is clear, has clarity.
No, I don't agree.
Otherwise, then what?
I don't think anybody has clarity.
Otherwise, then
I don't think anybody is or ever has had clarity.
We're not. I didn't ask that.
Well,
question.
you're asking me to think or not think or accept premises that I can't accept.
You're jumping.
No, you wanted me to accept premises I can't accept as it happens. And I'm not comfortable accepting premises that I can't understand. And I don't like anti-intellectualism.
But you jump. Oh, I'm not anti-intellectual.
It sounds to me like you are.
I'm a brain surgeon. I need intellect. It takes study. It takes experience. It takes know-how to use a computer. I'm a carpenter. To make carpentry. I need knowledge. I need experience.
I'm very nervous of anybody who says they got the truth, because I think truth is synergetic. And there will always be new levels of truth, and there will never have a knowledge of anything like fundamental truth.
May I answer?
There are no fundamental truths at
May
all.
I say?
So I'm very upset with the idea. First of all, I'm upset with your title, that you as your own title, Lover of Truth, is so solipsistic. I just don't understand
Let me clarify.
Okay, try.
I don't have the truth.
Oh, okay.
I am the truth.
Okay,
Let's
that's
be clear.
different. Okay.
See, I know words are horrible because they're imprecise, so therefore we must be careful. That's very good that you're seeking more clarity, which is good. Let's refine.
More knowledge and understanding.
Meaning, I am not a lover of truth. Love and truth are the same.
Okay, well...
They are two different words describing the same state of being.
Okay.
Right? So if you're seeking clarification, then that's good.
I'd be more comfortable talking about the presidential election or the fact they arrested Amy Goodman. Instead of all this, it sounds like New Age babble to me. And I don't have much faith with it. But I'm telling you the truth.
Let's go about it then a different way.
And we've been talking 25 minutes, and I can't make any sense out of what you're saying.
Let's go about it a different way.
Okay.
There's conflict.
Why don't we talk about politics?
Let's
talk
go.
about politics?
We're going to go.
How come we're coming into a fascist world? Is it bothersome? We talked on the telephone the other day. We were talking about creeping fascism and things that one can identify rather than New Age babble.
You ask a question, why?
Yeah.
But you're avoiding the answer.
Yes, because it's so boring.
I'm not, but
that's
this
all.
Is the answer.
It is not any answer that I can understand or want to particularly...
Wait.
Get to the point.
You mentioned politics.
Yeah.
You mentioned fascism.
Yeah.
Which is the control...
You spent about a half an hour talking to me about fascism and the world's about to blow up yesterday. I'd rather talk about that than New Age babble.
Okay. Why don't we then... let's talk about what you want to talk about.
All right, let's talk about the fact they just arrested, that we got a thing and they just arrested. No, it's not. But I mean, I'm sorry, I just can't get to it, right?
Okay.
But they arrested Amy Goodman yesterday.
That's right.
And in California, and it's really bad. You see the look? It looked awfully like fascist cops to me and everything. And there is a deep-seated angst in the minds of many people about the condition that exists in the world. It's in you. You've got this truth thing. That's another thing. I respect you for it and all. You think it's great, but you're very concerned about the human condition now in political terms, and that fascism
we're on the Titanic and we're headed towards the iceberg.
And the world should wake up to the fact that there is this very, very real chance of a fascistic takeover of all political, economic, and organizing
Wake up
assumptions.
In the sense of intelligence and wisdom.
Okay, but you are concerned with that. You're very concerned with that, and that
we're going to kill each other. We're going to destroy each other.
Do you think that is the case?
Or the planet is going to destroy us.
Do you think it is? Do you realize now, you realize that the weapon systems, at least, we played a program yesterday from the day we're taping this program with an eminent physicist. He's co-founder of string theory. And he, after being touted by Edward Teller and understanding well the weapon systems, confirmed as best he could, understanding those systems, that the weapon systems that exist, if they're unleashed now, would mean the end of the species.
Right.
Couldn't do it in the Second World War. Something existentially is blowing in the wind in terms of our extended consciousness and technological capability of affecting the environment.
Many of your shows.
Okay,
and I'm sure your listeners know it already.
But that's something worth talking about.
They know it.
No, we got new listeners all the time who haven't heard it.
For the new listeners.
Yeah, the new listeners. Okay, so we got that. Now that's something that is very, very relevant, it seems to me. And it seems to me you think, and we had in a conversation, that is likely to occur given the current state of lack of vision by our political, business, or intellectual leadership in terms of how we're going to operate this system.
Meaning the absence of wisdom.
Absence of wisdom, okay, that's good.
Technology has increased.
Yeah, right.
We made the bomb, but it's in the hands of madmen.
No, well, okay.
People having no wisdom.
Yeah, that is a problem.
This is the danger.
That is a danger.
The danger is really not so much in the nuclear, but it's in the hands of people that lack vision, wisdom, insight.
Does anyone
perception?
Who are those who have wisdom? I suppose
that's
why you're trying to get to it with this idea.
I wanted us to be the laboratory
to
bring about the awakening of intelligence.
A awakening of
in this studio.
Okay, now you're getting something
within you
we understand.
and within me.
So it doesn't have to be coming at it from some New Age kind of thing or something like that.
Very practical.
It could be discussed about the practical application of the understanding of the evolution of consciousness.
Yes.
And we may be in a universe where there is an evolution of consciousness.
No, not an evolution.
You don't. What do you mean, not an evolution? You
evolution. I'm going to explain.
Uh-huh.
Evolution implies time.
Yeah, right.
Does it not?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. Yesterday was yesterday. Today is today.
And time is not going to bring about, for lack of a better word, wisdom. This is what I'm saying. This is my point. You may not agree. That's okay.
Okay, I'm trying to understand that. I disagree with that.
I'm saying
at least
that
it's
wisdom
your criteria. What is
in you?
What is your criteria of wisdom? Or let's say
I'm going to tell you.
Beyond wisdom, that's a thing that is very interesting and everything. But what is the purpose of being in universe, if any? Is there any purpose in being in universe? Is there any purpose to universe?
You're seeking purpose.
Why is it here? Yeah, purpose and direction. Yeah.
Right.
And maybe from which there could be
who's seeking
and
it?
so it's the criteria. If the criteria is your ability to hit a white ball into a cup 400 yards down the fairway, then the best is a fellow named Tiger Woods. If you're talking about swiftness, is a gazelle. Or if you're talking about ponderous ability to have great weight and so forth, you're talking about an elephant. It's your criteria by which you do it, what you do. Is there any purpose to universe? I think that there is up the evolutionary line, and the evolution of consciousness is something worth considering because we apex that process of anti-entropic function in universe.
Harold,
we have a purpose.
look.
We have a collective purpose,
Yeah.
and that's something worth being concerned about because we've now reached
Harold.
the point where we have the ability to understand the outer environment. We were born into the environment. We have the ability to extend our consciousness in the use of technology, which reforms the environment in our own image. And we've now reached the point where we can destroy the whole species. There would be some sort of
Harold,
a verse side, a liberating side
Harold, there's
to
conflict.
that process,
There's
and that's
conflict
worth
in the world.
talking about.
There's
That's
conflict.
worth talking about.
There's conflict in the world.
Yeah, but talk to it in terms that accepts evolution and that there is an evolution of and
The
there is a
body-
purpose.
Look, the body and the mind and the brain
Yes.
are the product of evolution.
Well, yes, the product of evolution that's come about.
Creativity,
Mm-hmm.
joy,
Mm-hmm.
wisdom,
Well, okay.
love,
Mm-hmm.
truth,
Mm-hmm.
I am saying have nothing to do with time.
Uh-huh. Well, I don't understand what you mean by that.
Okay, well,
Okay.
well, let's go into it.
Okay.
Okay? Let's not avoid it. Let's not go. We can go off and talk about many things, which is great. I'm willing to do that. We only have a certain amount of time.
That's right. We got about 30 minutes left.
What I wanted to
28,
show
26,
to the
27.
audience is that it's possible between two human beings like you and me.
You're
We
back
don't
to
really
that
know
again.
each other,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Because Harold, the reason I'm coming back to it is because if we don't solve the relationship problem,
Uh-huh.
we can't approach the other problem.
I'd say it the other way around. I would be more unified field theory than quantum, and I think that to concentrate upon something between two people is nonsense
I'm gonna
because
show
you
you.
have to come from the whole
I'll show
to the
you.
individual, from the whole to the individual, get the patterns of the whole, then come to the individual.
I
because
agree
you can't
that
do anything at
I
an
agree that
individual level.
the whole is the starting point.
Yeah, well, why don't we begin with universe rather than the individual talking
the
to
whole
each
is-
other over a cup of coffee?
But you don't get it. The whole
I don't get it.
is
no.
you. You are
No,
the whole.
The whole is not me, in my view. I don't know what you're trying to say. We are part of a much larger system, and you're asking me to
No, there's
dissect
no
that.
parts.
Well, you say
There's
there's
the
no parts. I
illusion
say
of
there
parts.
are.
I know.
Okay, you
There's
say
the
it's an
illusion of
illusion. It's
parts.
Maya, they call it in the Hindu thing.
Right.
I think that's bunk, okay?
Right.
And that there
Now,
are parts and there are
Are you
divisions.
willing to experiment with me, right?
Well, I can
And
try.
see,
I'm very
maybe,
malleable.
are you open? Let me put it this way. Are you open to finding out right now in this studio, before this program is over, that everything that you ever thought to be true, real, whatever word you want to use, was completely false?
I think
Are
it
you
would be-
open to that that might be? Are you afraid? Are you afraid of that you might discover that, or are you willing to say no? If that's so, I will face it. I'm not afraid. I won't run. I won't hide. I won't escape. I'm willing in this time, if it's possible. This man is saying it. I may start off saying I don't agree with you. I may resist. I may protest. I may say let's talk about the Big Bang. But he's insisting. No, wait. There's something here, and I want to show it to you. Are you open? That's the question.
Well,
Not believe me. Do you believe me? Are you open to finding out for yourself if it's so or it's not so?
Well, I have
That's
to
the
say
question.
yes because I'm very
Okay.
open to everything.
Okay, so
But
let's do
it's
it.
very unlikely.
We're going to
It's very
find out.
unlikely. It
We're gonna
sounds like
find out.
hokum to me.
We're going to find out.
Okay.
Because can you agree with me, Harold, that if we are not in relationship,
I don't
in
know
which,
what that means.
Okay, I'm going to go into it if you let me.
It sounds
If we're not in a
babble.
relationship in the sense of no division, then conflict is inevitable. And not only that, look, you talk about the Big Bang, you talk about science and knowing all these things. These are great.
Politics.
But in order,
yeah.
politics,
art, culture, animals, ecology,
but if
everything,
we are to
yeah.
approach it, right? If we are to approach all these issues and problems and the
As
things of
individual-
life,
yeah,
the
right.
tree, the bird, the cloud, right? Then it must be approached with a mind that can see.
I don't know what
with
you
a
mean.
being,
I'm
with
sorry,
a being that
yeah,
can see
what-
clearly without any interpretation.
Oh.
Now, your point, I know what you're saying. You're saying the interpreter is there, and it's inevitable. It's hardwired, and it must be so.
I have no idea what you just said. What are you talking about, hardwired?
Okay. When you're listening
We're not
to me
hardwired.
now,
Our consciousness is not hardwired. You use terms,
Okay.
and you're trying to set a term and a frame of things that I can't fathom.
when you're talking to
We're
me
not
now,
hardwired. We
Okay.
have synapse at the court, between the axons
that-
of the neurons
take
that
that
make up
hardwire out.
consciousness. It's not
right
hardwired.
now, you're
it's,
talking to me. Who's
there's-
talking to me? The past, your programming, your
I'm
beliefs,
talking
your
to you, yeah,
ideas,
yeah.
your suppositions, your conclusions. All of that is talking to me now. Right? Your background is talking to me now.
Okay.
Which
and
is memory.
yours is talking to me.
No,
Yeah.
I don't have one.
Oh, you don't? You're unique to the human
I am nobody.
society? You're nobody?
I'm nobody.
Okay, go on.
You see? Nobody is talking to you now. Wait, go slow. Because it's so easy to get lost.
I
Now,
would say, yeah, I am.
I'm saying that it's possible for two human beings to be in complete harmony. Therefore, love, creativity, joy, all the rest is possible.
Why
and
two
it doesn't
pe-
take
Why
time.
two human beings? Why not all?
All, but we're starting now
Why
with
not
two
all?
human beings.
No, ask me why not all. I'm
Not- I
unified
don't say-
field.
I
I
don't-
don't want to divide it up into some individualized thing.
Because, meaning if you approach somebody right now in the street, they'll say impossible, just like you.
Of course.
Impossible,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
If we can demonstrate it now that it
Yeah.
is possible,
You're not going to demonstrate it with me, I'll tell you.
well, there's resistance.
There's no way, absolutely.
There's resistance,
Of course,
right?
yeah.
So, in order to find something out, right, I must be open first. I must not have a point of view, an opinion, a resistance.
Well, that's
I mean,
your
I'm going to
saying.
find out. Look, I say to you, Harold, on the other side of the mountain is this beautiful flower. I can talk to you till doomsday, right? And you keep saying no and no. You'll never know. You may argue with me, you're crazy, there's none, right?
Yeah, they call
Or,
it the nectar,
Harold,
and they call
or-
it samadhi, and they call it all
Or
kinds of
Harold,
things.
you could say, Jacob, I don't know if there's this beautiful
Well,
flower.
of course
Wait,
I
wait,
can
wait.
do that.
I don't know if there is or not, but let's go together, and I'm gonna find out myself. I don't believe you, Jacob. I'm gonna walk with you hand in hand, and together we're going to go across that mountain, and we're going to see if there's this flower or not.
Heard it here first, people.
Okay.
You want to
So
join Jacob
that-
in a journey of discovery of the inner sanctum of this
We're doing
samadhi?
it now.
No, okay.
But
go
you
on.
must be open.
Well, you can't be. Okay, go on.
Right.
Go on. Right. Go on. Go ahead.
Okay.
So you might as well lay it out.
There's
This is
division.
important to you. Okay.
There's this division,
Yeah.
and as long as there's this division, right, then I don't see you clearly.
Okay.
Right? Meaning there's an interpreter, which is my conditioning, which is my programming, which is my past, and I judge you based on all that I know. Right? My likes, my dislikes, all of that. If I'm a Catholic, I see you from the point of view of a Catholic. If I'm a Jew, I see you from the point of view of a Jew. Right?
Okay.
Which is very narrow, very limited. That means I don't see you.
Okay. I wish you
My
would get to the
past-
point.
Okay. My point is that is all an
Maybe
illusion.
some people understand what he's talking about. I don't.
My point is, let's make this clear. I am saying, I am affirming that we are all one. There are no divisions. There is no separation. Meaning, for example,
Well,
there's
that's
no
what John Lennon said.
there's
in
no
his big
United
song,
States
right?
of America.
Oh, you say that.
Thought
Okay.
made it up. Thought said United States of America. There's no New York. There's no Canada. There's no Mexico. There's no Russia. There's none of that.
There's nothing to worry
If you
about.
go on the planet and look on the earth, there's no lines. Those lines were invented by thought. Thought invented the I. Thought invented me. Thought, which has a place in the technological
What
world.
is his place?
Its place is in technology
And what's
to
the,
build a better
what's the
tool.
relationship between this truth you're talking about and the technology?
The relationship is that thought that it could make a better me. It made a me. It says, I need the me in order to survive. Without it, I can't survive. And that me, I can make it better and better and better. If you go to Barnes & Noble now and you look at the self-improvement section, it's quite
endless,
large.
Endless.
Quite large,
endless,
right?
Endless. Yeah.
So it's an accumulative process, right, of adding and learning and more and more and more. And all those little building blocks become me, right? I'm making the me bigger and bigger
Why
and bigger.
do you keep putting it on the me? I don't understand that. What's so
me,
important about the
I'm
me?
saying, I'm saying, I'm going to tell you, that me is making the separation. That's what I'm saying. That me creates the illusion. There actually is no separation. The me is creating a sense of division and separation. I'm a Russian, you're a Jew.
Are you talking about a free-floating
Arab,
energy? There's nothing real. It's Maya. It's illusion. There's nothing real except something else other than a united whole, an Atman, a physical thing. Talk about it in some terms.
I'm saying that
can be
whatever
understood.
thought says is limited and distorted.
Okay. Okay.
But the good news is there's another capacity in the human being that sees the whole. Thought is merely a part of that. It is not the whole. Thought is not the whole. Right?
Well, individual.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
Now, in order for that to awaken, that capacity, which is already there, actually. See, that's why words are imprecise. There's actually no awakening. But we have to use certain words, meaning in order for it to come into being, in order for you to actually feel this deep love and affection towards me that you do towards others, then you must see what the I thought as the I is doing in our relationship, meaning it creates this sense of division. And in that division, violence, brutality, insensitivity, callousness, distortion, because it acts as an interpreter. It colors, it shapes what you see, what you taste, what you touch, right? Which is not me. So you're not really looking at me. I'm saying, I'm affirming, you don't listen to me at all. You're listening to words and you're interpreting the words according to your own understanding, which is memory, which is the past, which is limited.
And that came with everybody. Yeah.
Everyone is trapped in this, right? From birth.
And are there anybody who's talked about this other than Jabod Sabat? Is it coming from anywhere? Is that anything to do? Murdy is good. J. Krishnamurti. Any Alice Bailey or any of the people that are in
the
that
perennial
is
wisdom,
having to do with the old wisdom schools.
The perennial wisdom
and we can
schools,
repair to
yes.
that. Okay,
Jesus, Buddha.
Jesus, Buddha,
yes.
right.
Rumi.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Many.
Okay.
Even those that we don't even know
you're
about.
talking the spiritual stuff then. You're talking about the spiritual stuff. Okay.
The
you're in that
so-called
realm.
spiritual.
Okay. Well, that makes it a little easier to understand where you're coming from.
Let's be clear, right?
Okay.
Since you mentioned the word spiritual, right? Thought is a material process.
Okay.
It is not spiritual. Spiritual comes into being when thought ends. When there's a silencing, a quieting down.
Now I begin to understand where you're coming from.
Okay. In order to be with you now, Harold, I must be empty. I must be silent, inwardly.
Okay.
Outwardly, certain things are happening, but that's coming from another place. It's not coming from Jacob, what Jacob learned. Jacob now has knowledge. Jacob now is sharing that knowledge with Harold. It's not that. Meaning, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know where it's coming from. Okay?
Okay.
Meaning, it's happening in the moment. It's a spontaneous action, right? Which is coming from the nothingness, the emptiness, the silence. Right?
That's your assumption. Yeah. Okay.
I'm saying these
now
things.
I begin to understand you. Krishnamurti and that stuff. I got some roots to it. I think Jesus and that. I understand.
But now here's the problem. For those that are familiar with J. Krishnamurti, right? J. Krishnamurti traveled the world for 60 years, teaching to large crowds of people, right?
Right.
On his deathbed, do you know what he said?
No, I don't. No.
One of the things he said was,
he had a lot of wisdom.
Do you know that it's been reported by one of his closest followers that was at his deathbed? Do you know that no one had a clue what I was talking about? In his view, in his opinion.
Okay, yeah.
Which I agree. So that means he wasted all that 60 years.
How many people of the wisdom schools do we have that we could
They all
if we
failed.
wanted to think about?
They all failed. Of course.
Everybody
The world
failed.
would be not the way
but
it
that
is today.
does not
with conflict in
because they haven't
countries
failed and the thing hasn't failed and we still may blow up the planet. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. The spiritual plane.
That's
one of the
No,
things.
these men came to say, look, it does exist.
It does exist.
It happened to me. It can happen to you. This was their message.
Right, okay.
But they were unable to communicate it to the others.
Right.
It got misinterpreted, it got distorted, it got twisted around,
right, through all the
spun
thought
around,
and all that.
of course.
Right. All right. And
That's
so
right.
it's a spiritual thing. And
they made rituals, they made temples, they made, oh my God, so many things. They lost the whole thing.
Right.
They made stories, mythologies. Artistry, symbols.
Right.
Look what thought has done. Thought built the temple.
Well, that's okay.
Thought made God.
No, but I'm talking about the failure, that they haven't failed and that we're still at the point where we're still going down all these thoughtful roads and thinking.
And thought has a place. Thought is not the bad guy.
What
Let's
is
be
the
clear.
place of thought?
Thought
You said that the wisdom
The
comes
accumulative
from silence
knowledge
and
in order
absence
to
of-
learn to play the
You said
guitar.
that the wisdom comes from silence, from the absence of thought.
Right.
And what is the place of thought within the universe
Thought-
where wisdom comes from the
Right
absence
now,
of thought?
I'm going to answer.
Yeah.
Thought right now in the human being is acting like the driver of the car.
Well,
Rather than being the car, and wisdom is driving the car. If I can make that kind of analogy. Thought right now
Let me ask
is
you,
an inner tyrant
Okay.
acting as a dictator.
I can kind of understand.
You're acting from thought.
I kind of understand now.
rather than from wisdom.
I'm wondering because here, when I look out,
Thought
I
is
see-
the tool of wisdom.
if
But
it-
it's not the way. It's not that way now.
I wonder if I could ask you a question. Are you optimistic for the human prospect?
I'm neither optimistic nor pessimistic.
You're okay. What is your 50 Occam's razor?
I'm
which way
aware of
would
what's
you go?
happening though now.
Yeah. Okay. And I know you're aware of what's happening, and you're very concerned about what's
The
happening.
way
in
the world is today
political
and
realm.
has been for over 200,000 years
Well, that's
is the
one.
worst case scenario.
Would
This
the
is
world
hell.
have been
We've
better?
made heaven.
Would the world have been better had humanity not evolved? Is it like a cancer that's been involved within an otherwise perfectly
The
ordered
human being-
world?
yes.
Are we a cancer? Is it
It's a
something?
destroying
is
machine.
it something like a locust on the back of
Yes.
an elephant that can be shaken off humanity?
But it doesn't have to be that way.
No, but I'm saying
is-
as
it
though
has been
that's
that
your
way.
view. That's your view,
It
and
has
it's
been
only
that way.
humanity that's had the thought.
There've
and
been
the
a
thought
few
is
that
the
are not
problem,
that way.
and that's what separated us from the great Atman or the the Samadhi or something. And that's
Harmony.
where
Harmony
does-
with all things.
Harmony, yeah, that we were embedded in nature,
The ending of
weren't we?
war.
When we,
The ending of killing, the
well,
ending
you
of
can't
sorrow.
have the ending of war because you only
Look,
got war within human
Harold,
beings. So if
Harold,
you got the
if I
people
came
never
to you,
came.
Harold, if I came to you and I said, "There's a button, Harold. If you press this button right now, instantaneously, all around the planet, everyone who's in sorrow, who's suffering, that suffering would come to an end."
Yeah.
There it is, Harold. Will you press it? My
Yeah,
question
I would
to
if
you.
No, not within the context with which you present. No.
I'm talking about
you'd
the
have to-
ending of
no,
sorrow.
I would not be able to do that.
You wouldn't do it, right?
No, because you haven't explained.
I'm
you
gonna
haven't
put it another
explained
way.
what's behind it.
I'm going to. Oh, you don't know what the
no, I
ending
couldn't
of
do
sorrow
that
is?
thoughtlessly. I can't go jump off a mountain.
Well, no,
You
think
don't-
it out.
You have no thought. You don't
No,
want
no,
to
think it out.
No, it's only through thinking.
Think it out.
Think it out. Yeah.
There it
but
is.
you're
Here's
putting
the
up
button.
a button, and you
Think
don't
it out.
And you don't explain.
You have time. Go ahead. I'm not going to take as much
I'm not
time
gonna
as you
press
want.
the button because you haven't explained what's the context.
People are suffering. Aren't you suffering?
No, well,
You're not
yes,
suffering?
on and off. It comes.
You
and
don't have
goes,
mental
up and down.
afflictions, mental
of
torment?
Of course, some do. Some
Worries?
don't. The human condition.
Are you free of all fear?
Of
Harold?
course not.
Of course not,
No,
right?
Of course
Therefore,
not.
you're suffering.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
Now, you press this button, and Harold will have no more fear.
Yeah. Well, you see, that's the thing that's like something I'm
You
not
see,
gonna
Harold,
press.
in order to
I mean,
feel...
within the context, because you're
you have
asking us.
grandchildren, right?
I do, as a matter of fact.
In order to
4.
love your grandchildren, I'm going to make statements that are going to be shocking. So please
Well,
bear
they're
with
not
me.
Shocking to me. It's
Please
old
bear with
stuff.
me. In order to love your grandchildren and your children, right? You must have no fear in you at all.
I don't know what you're talking.
I know it's shocking.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
I'm saying
you're
that.
talking to me. It sounds nonsense. It sounds like New Age spiritual nonsense. I'm sorry. That's the way it sounds. Because I can't stop thinking, and I can't stop
said
seeing
anything
the
about
world.
stop thinking?
Well, it seems to me
I
you
didn't say
thought
anything about
thought
that.
was the problem that intruded upon the evolution of this beautiful space of truth.
No, thought in...
And only us,
wait,
only
let's
had
be
thought
clear.
and memory and all the things that make
No,
for
no,
the
let's be
problem.
clear.
And then you say you get to that, you won't have war and all that. It sounds just
Look,
non sequiturs.
let's
that you
make
can't
it clear.
You can't ask somebody to
Harold.
be associating with something that is totally illogical.
Harold, let's make it clear.
Oh, you can ask them
Thought
to, but you're not going to.
Made the Canadian and the United States and the German and the French and the Spain. Thought did that.
Well, you could
We're
think
human
of you
beings.
could think of thought in a certain sense. There are
We're
some
human beings.
There are some who think, well,
Harold,
we're in
look,
a larger order.
Time is running out.
We're
Can
in
I
a
ask you a
larger
favor?
order.
Can I ask you a favor?
You can ask Jacob because I love you. You're
Let me
grand
talk
pleasing.
because the time is limited. Let me get it off. Let me just say it.
Well,
You can then respond.
okay.
Let me just say it though, so
Rant.
that there's
Go ahead,
a
rant.
totality that
Go
I
ahead,
can
rant.
present to
Go
the
ahead,
audience.
rant it out, and then
Right.
there will people hear it, and let you have your say.
The world
I
is
would have
one.
rather talked about fascism and the dangers of things political, but and I know you're
The
concerned with
solution.
that, but you want to
The
talk about
solution.
your thing.
I'm talking about the
So go
solution.
ahead.
The solution to fascism and all of that is what we're going to get to, right?
We're not
Which
going
is
to
this
get to it.
division between human, the seeming division that has been invented by thought. So we must observe. All I'm asking you to do is to see what thought has done.
I just want to let you know you have 9 minutes.
9 minutes, okay.
So get it all in 9 minutes, okay? And I'll just sit here and listen.
I am saying that
Preach
we are
away.
one. Thought in creating thought in creating an image of itself.
Bring it a one shot on
meaning
him
the
and let him really lay this out for everybody.
The minute you say I'm a Christian, I'm a Jew, I'm a Russian, I'm an atheist, I believe this, I don't believe.
Full camera. You can just really do it.
I believe this, I don't believe that. The minute you do that, you separate yourself from others. Therefore, violence and conflict are inevitable. So do you see what thought has done to you? Thought invented the temples and the gods and the rituals and the beliefs. Thought has done all this. It made everything up. We're living in a make-believe world, and which wouldn't be so bad, but we actually believe it. We actually believe it is true. So can you and I see what thought has done? Meaning thought has a place to build the bridge, to grow the crops, to make a better car, a better computer. But thought, in making an image of itself, has created division. And in that division, violence is inevitable. We've created countries. There are no countries. It's only thought. And you believed it. Because you were a little child, you grew up in a world, everyone else believed it, and so you accepted it. So, can the human being see this? Look in the mirror and see what thought has done. Thought has created the wars. The wars are coming from the divisions. So if there is no division, there will be no war. There will be peace on this earth. So why do I have to ask myself, why do I have an eye? Do I need an eye? What if I didn't have an eye? If I didn't have an eye for one day, what would life be like? Have I ever even explored it once in my life? One day in your life. No eye. You wake up in the morning and nothing ever happened. No story, no beliefs, no ideas, no concepts. Just to see what would happen. This is what I'm challenging all the audience and you, Harold, to do. For one day, wake up without any belief, knowledge, I am this, I am that, I am nobody. And see then what takes place. As an experiment, neither accept nor reject anything that anyone says to you, including your own self. The I is making things up. It's saying, I like this, I don't like that, I agree with this, I don't agree with that, this makes sense, this doesn't. Neither accept or reject what thought and your emotions are saying, and see what happens when you do that. I'm saying stop being a slave to what thought as the image maker says to you all the time. I am this, I am that, I am not this, I am not that. This is an illusion. So all I'm asking people to do is try it, see what happens. Wake up in the morning without any burden from the past, without any burden from the future, having no future and no past, and see what happens in relationship to others. And what I have found happens, Harold, is your ears explode.
No, talk to them. Talk to them.
Your
Get it
ears
out.
explode.
It'll be good for you to,
you listen more deeply. You listen with your entire
6
being.
minutes.
And without true listening, there can be no love. There can be no understanding. Without understanding, there can be no intelligence, no wisdom, no insight. So it is of the utmost importance that every human being in the sound of my voice hear this, see what thought is doing to you. Thought is making things up all the time, and you believe it. Why do you put up with it? Thought has a place. Like I said, thought is not a bad guy. But thought in the invention of the me is the root cause of all humanity's problems. So all I'm asking people to do is for one day, wake up in the morning without no past, with no beliefs, no ideas. Stop identifying with this group and that group and another group, the right, the left, the center. No group at all. The atheist, this ism, that ism, whatever. Just wake up with nothing. Be nothing. Be nobody. See what happens. The wondrous things, the majesty, the glory, the magnificent energy. What I have found, I've done this, is that there's a gathering of energy, tremendous energy. Where did that energy come from? Well, that energy was always there. But it was being wasted in thought as putting together the I. takes tremendous energy to maintain this I. And that I is creating the division between people, and therefore the cause of much of all the sorrow and suffering. If there were no I, if there were no you, if there were no me, guess what there would be? There would be love. There would be peace. Naturally, effortlessly, choicelessly, without any effort whatsoever on your part or my part. We don't need authority. We don't need direction. Love is a self-organizing principle. It is the highest form of intelligence, which is sensitivity, which is care, which is seeing, which is feeling, which is listening. And if we let that be our guide, but that won't come into being unless we come face to face with I. Who am I? Who am I? The I is memory. It's the past. It's what you thought has said you are, and you believe it. Why do you accept it? And not liking one particular type, you say, well, let's have another I. I'll transform my I into this I or that I or another I. So you move from one illusion to another illusion, and you call that progress. You call that evolution. You're moving from one deception to another deception. So see what thought is doing. See it now. Don't wait. See what thought is doing to you. And in that, there is liberation. When you see the trickery of thought, then in that second, it's over. You can never be tricked again.
Okay, well, listen, that's really good. And you had See It Now. They used to have a program, See It Now, and you got an idea. I personally think, Jacob, I know you're a really caring, interesting person who's come upon something very important. I think you ought to consider becoming a producer here at MNN and becoming a producer who could, like you see some of the things Christian Murray did? He would be thoughtfully doing it, and becoming a producer and sharing some of this with the world, because there is a lot of wisdom in those wisdom school things that you're concerned with. And I know you also have a wide-ranging, very intelligent understanding of the world in the normal way that I would call normal way and concerns, and you're a beautiful human being. And I thank you for coming in. You've got a very deep-felt thing on a spiritual track that I think is very important. Do you think you might be able to become a producer if you come over here and make your own program, and you could bring people in and talk about some of these things on a more regular basis?
Well,
maybe communicate.
I
know you're a gorgeous person.
I meet many people on a daily basis, and that's where I do this.
Okay.
Wherever I go,
but
wherever I am, that is the classroom.
Yeah, I see.
Not at a certain time in a certain place.
But
it's wherever you go. When you walk into Starbucks, that is the laboratory.
I see.
That is the world.
Well, that is true.
And that's where it begins.
Oh. But Christian Murray was something else, man. He was a beautiful man. You follow him.
But he failed.
Well, okay. But you don't think it would be good for you to think about becoming a program where you could let this be going forward
Harold,
to a
I've
lot
said
of
many things. I want to
hear
what you have to say.
This program is going to be seen all over the world.
Harold, I said many things.
Yeah.
Challenge me on it.
Well, I would. I tried and everything, but it was too hard for me.
I just said a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
What do you gain? What do you have from it?
Well, I think that it's very beautiful, and it's got a place, a very important place. It's not a place that I'm comfortable with, but it's a place that a lot of people are, and there's great wisdom in what you're saying. I know there's wisdom there, and I have a hard time fathoming it through all.
What are the parts that you have a problem with? Let's go into that.
Well, it's hard to know because it's so comprehensively there. But anyway, I know you're a gorgeous human being, and you're very concerned with the human condition. I know that. And
what
I
happened to me,
that.
Harold, can happen to you, can happen to anyone.
Well,
I'm not special. It can happen to anyone. Your brain is my brain. It's the human brain, which has evolved, as we said, for 200,000 years.
Right.
That's what they tell us.
That's what they tell us.
Right?
Yeah. And I hope it doesn't come to an end.
It's not Harold's brain.
Yeah, I know.
It's not Jacob's brain.
Okay, yeah.
It's the human brain.
Jacob's brain. Wasn't
it's not. It's not communist. It's not Catholic. It's not Russian. It's the human brain.
Well, anyway, thanks for coming in, Jacob.
Okay.
All the best. Thank you for viewing. Please tune in. We're coming back again tomorrow. Jabod Sabat, and we got your contact information. I really think it would be good if you could start a program here and reach out with this idea, because there's wisdom there for sure. And I know you're a beautiful person. Thanks a lot, Jacob, for coming in. Pleasure to view. Please tune in again. We'll be coming back again tomorrow. That's it for now. One more time, Jacob, thanks a lot for coming in and for all your deep and heartfelt concern for